is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast, episode 147 to you, coming live. It is January 29th as we're recording at about 3:30 Pacific time. We last talked to you guys, me, myself, and West, who it will be just us two today once again. We last spoke with you guys on January 24th. The title of that podcast was, Are the Trailblazers Playing Locks, Trade Deadline, and Giannis Rumors? That's when it was very much rumors. Still is rumors, but the rumors are picking up because it seems like Giannis is at least open to the idea of being traded from Milwaukee. And that could result in the Blazers being in the middle of what could be one of the bigger trade deadline moves of recent memory outside of Luka Doncic, even though this does low-key rival it in terms of player quality. But the Blazers are in a great position, and I think the thing that the media has not talked about the most is that the Blazers, very well, they're obviously going to be involved in some way, some shape or form, but they could be the very team receiving Giannis when it's all said and done. We will get into all that. West, you said before this podcast, we really haven't spoke, by the way. We want to get our genuine thoughts, reactions for you guys in real time on the podcast. But you did say one thing. You said that you have been all over Twitter with these Giannis rumors, just fiending for new posts left and right each hour. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We're not going to talk much hoops today. This is post the game in Washington, so I don't think we need to. Don't really want to talk about hoops today. I don't even. Oh my gosh, where do I start? Okay, so Giannis, to your point, the media has not talked about for some reason, of course, because no one watches Portland basketball in the national media, but it's been very interesting of all the Twitter posts and rumors, whether you want to call it rumors or just literally just like ideas being thrown out by random people that have not heard anything, which is probably what this is. But everything I've seen is the Blazers being a third team involved in this, where we're getting like fine players. But what people need to understand is the Blazers have the golden chip in all the negotiations, and that is the Bucks picks. Okay, we talked about it in the podcast when Dame was traded, and yes, it was blind optimism from me, but I will continue to say the whole goal here was to have Milwaukee be terrible at the end of the decade, and that required Giannis moving on, because Giannis probably has another 5 years of really good basketball. I know he's injured right now, and we'll see what happens with that. And he is 31, which is kind of crazy to me, but we have the golden chips, and so I just really hope before we talk about getting into these trades and what it possibly looks like for Portland and all that, I want you have to be really smart with those picks, because that is your ticket to that's your ticket to you give that ticket in and you can move up a step on the ladder rung, because those are things you can cash in for maybe a Giannis if you believe like your window is sooner than you think, or like that's just, you can use that down the line. And Milwaukee, like I was listening to Bill Simmons, he called the Bucks 2 through 12 the worst 2 through 12 in the NBA. And so the Bucks are going to be a bad team without Giannis. They're going to be a bad team, and they're going to probably tank. And I'll get it out of the way here. We are going to talk about the trades, but if I had to put money on it, I don't think they'll deal him at the deadline. I think it makes more sense in the summer. But summer trade deadline, it's a very real thing that he's probably not going to stay here. So that's why we're going to talk about that. But I'm excited, man. The Blazers are involved.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Multiple things I want to get into. First off, going off of your Milwaukee 2 through 12 being one of the worst, we're seeing that on display tonight. They get the Wizards. They are 2-point favorites. That is a tough look for Milwaukee, only being 2-point favorites against the worst team in the NBA. Let's just set the scene, I feel like, for those that aren't kind of really just on top of things. So Giannis has not officially like asked out by any means, but reports are saying he is open to a trade, which is the closest thing we've gotten to Giannis on the move in history. So he is open for a trade. He has no trade list, nothing like that. He hasn't said where he would want to go. The Bucks have not said whether they would deal him at the deadline, whether they will deal him at all, or if it's in the summer, things like that. But we do know that I believe calls have been made and teams are starting to pick up the phone. I read the Warriors picked up the phone. I read Miami's picked up the phone. And by no means does that mean those two teams have the best chance of getting him, but just know conversations are starting to be had. For all we know, Portland is in those conversations too. So that is one thing.
Yep.
Two is, I mean, it's basically what I just said. The Blazers are in those conversations. That sentence alone is a huge deal. I feel like Cody said it best. Cody texted us. Let me pull off this text.
Yeah.
We were discussing like, let's do a pod tonight. You were like, let's do a pod tonight. And I was like, I could do it. Cody, unfortunately, is flying right now. For all we know, he's in the air, or he's already been in the air, but I don't know. And he said the thing that I just feel like is perfect. He said, every big trade is always just talk and speculation. Can once it actually come true? Just once. We are so due.
Fair.
Part of me shares that same sentiment, but I think that is where we're at right now. Like, we're actually probably a step above that. Normally, we are just like, ooh, could the Blazers trade for Zion Williamson? Could the Blazers trade for, like, back in the days of when Dame was still on the team? Well, I guess he's back.
Paul George.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Could they trade for Paul George? Could they trade for Giannis? We're a little above that. We're like it's not just like hopeful wishing. We are in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really interesting and fun place to be in.
So one more thing, and then I'm going to throw a question to you. What's really funny, I was contemplating this, and I want to hear your thoughts, like your opinion on some things, but we'll continue to just set this up for Blazer fans. When Dame was traded, we talked about how it'd be, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cool if we get the Bucks picks, and then Dame comes back to Portland and we have the Bucks picks. Well, that happened, guys. And we talked about what if Dame comes, what if like we got, like, what if Giannis then came to Portland, and and like it's just stuff that was perfect scenario stuff. And like, of course, Joe Cronin wasn't planning for the Bucks to, like, last ditch effort for Giannis is to stretch Dame's contract and go for Miles Turner. But like, thank you, Milwaukee. So that it's crazy. What I want to hear from you is, if you're Giannis, well, actually, if you're the Bucks, how do you play this? And then, like, what do you think is genuinely, do you think the Blazers have one of the best packages in the NBA? Because other teams include Miami, which they'll probably offer some dookie package. I'm just kidding. Miami, Minnesota, Golden State, New York. Those are kind of the four teams I've heard. I know people are like, OKC could press the red button, but I really don't think OKC is going to do that. Same with San Antonio. I really don't think San Antonio wants to part ways with people like Harper, Castle, that they probably would have to. So if you're the Bucks, what do you think? I mean, obviously trying to get the best package possible. And then, I don't know. Are they going to play it similar to how the Blazers did with Dame? And it's like, sure, Dame will give you a good destination, but we also like need a package.
I think absolutely they're going to, in some form or fashion, do right by Giannis. Like, he brought them a championship. Like, this is like the Blazers. I think it'll be exactly kind of how the Blazers did it with Dame. They're not going to, like, if Giannis says, I want to go to Miami, we'll just use them as an example, and Miami has a terrible package, the Bucks, I don't think, are just going to roll over and take that.
We've seen that before.
Exactly. But I do think they're not going to send him to Utah to get all of Utah's draft capital, because Utah, for some reason, wants to make a move. Like, they are going to do right by him. I think the Blazers probably fall into a category where, like, I don't think Giannis would be mad if he had to come here. But then to answer your second question, like, where does the Blazers package rank among the league? It depends on how you're looking at it. I think if I was the Bucks, the Blazers are top 3 in packages that could be offered. I think New York can't offer you anything substantial. They can offer, if you want to be in purgatory and get Cat and some middling ground picks, sure, you can do that. Miami, their picks are never going to be that bad. Plus the players you get, you would just be in purgatory. You'd be getting a Bam Adebayo or a mix of like Hero and other guys. That's not going to do anything. Golden State, I think Golden State's is underrated, but it's not better than Portland's, because Golden State does own a lot of their picks. And I think those picks will be extremely valuable, because like a 2031, a 2032 Golden State pick, that's when Giannis is over the hill. Steph is obviously retired by then. That's an underrated package, but it's not better than Portland's. Of course, your OKCs have great packages. Your Detroits have good packages.
If OKC and San Antonio put their hat in the ring, like, they would have the best packages.
And I don't think there's any, like,
Atlanta.
Oh, what's not Atlanta's unless you're getting Jalen Johnson. Well, Atlanta has the super valuable New Orleans pick, which could be top 5, could be top 3, could be number 1 overall in this draft.
So can I add something?
I think the Blazers are top 3.
One thing I saw that's really interesting is, and I'm trying to justify the Yang pick, but I read that it was very intentional that the Blazers got that 2028 first from Orlando, because we have to, with the Chicago thing, we can't really trade picks until that drops in 2028. And then there's the rule that you can't trade the stipend rule, I believe. Pretty much getting that a 2028 first opens us up to trading our own first and 30, 32. Like, we can do that now.
Okay.
So I will say, like, if you're the Bucks and I was trying to think about this in my head, like, obviously to match salary, like Grant and Rob Will are gone. Probably all the picks / swaps are gone. Probably another first, could be the 2028 Orlando first. It could be, you're probably giving up a little more draft capital than your young cornerstone prospect. It's been Scoot on Twitter. Would you part ways with Sharp and keep Scoot?
Yeah, that isn't. I think you probably would have to include Sharp
and
over Scoot. No, you one of Sharp and Scoot.
Yeah, only one.
I think you'd have to go Sharp. You would have to go, the salaries of like the Grant, so then they could flip Grant in the future. Like, you're basically, it's Sharp and the picks are the big part. I don't think Scoot, unless a particular front office is really enamored in Scoot, I don't think Scoot at the moment has the value you would need to get that deal across the table.
Is the 2 swaps in the first. Sure, it's not 3 extra firsts, but you will be picking, and the Blazers could be good, and you could be picking in the lottery 3 straight years. And so I know there's one where, like, is it the Wizards get the second best maybe or something like that? But
no, yeah, we pretty much wouldn't be picking in the lottery most likely. My question I was going to say real quick is, like, those picks, what? That's 28 swap, 29 unprotected, 30 swap.
Yeah.
So what? This year is 20. So that's 3 years down the line.
Are you saying the Bucks could turn it around by then?
My question is selfishly, if you're the Bucks, how valuable do you selfishly and like egotistically look at those picks? Because do you think they're like, when we trade Giannis, we need those picks back because we'll be bad in 5 years? I think a GM, Horst, that dog water GM over there,
John Horst.
I think those picks are more valuable in the eyes of others that have a more realistic viewpoint of the Bucks will probably be bad in 3 years, whereas the Bucks themselves selfishly probably are thinking, let's not be that bad. I don't know if that matters, though.
I hear you on that. Now, I could see that if we're talking about a big market team like the Lakers or the Knicks or someone who's like, we can just get free agents whenever. But when you're a small market team, like, you need to build through the draft. And I think the Bucks, like, let's face it, they're going to lose Giannis. So you need, you want your picks back.
For sure.
And
it's not.
You want to regain control, because now, again, I guess if you don't get to regain control, then you can try to do a retool instead of a rebuild. I really don't think that's possible for them as a small market team. And it depends on, like, sure, let's say you trade with freaking San Antonio for some reason. You get Dylan Harper back and he turns into an all-star you can quickly do a rebuild, I guess. But those picks, like, they're going to want those picks. And I also want to add, like, in my opinion, whether if the Blazers are the third team in a trade and it's for McHale or Jaden McDaniels or something like that, like, I'm sorry, those players are great. They're not worth those picks. They're not worth those picks to me. Like, those are picks you go big fish, big game hunting with.
They're not worth those picks. I think we had this conversation kind of last podcast. How many, like, Jaden McDaniels, is he worth one of the picks?
I would rather have McDaniels than Bridges.
Is that because of the value wise, or is that, like, truly, like, you think he would be better on our team? I don't think it's a crazy take.
It's actually, I mean, I'd have to think about it with, like, I don't know the stats. I would assume McHale's probably a better shooter.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. But Bridges obviously has more offensive upside, but it's more so how much of that upside do you need?
I saw some tweets from like, verified accounts that are like, Blazers are the third team not getting Giannis, and like two of the three or all three are leaving. Like, no, like that's not like it's like Zach Lowe was he addressed it, and he talked about like, if you're Portland, like why would you do that? Like you're not just here to assist in other team. You're not going to be the third team. Okay, sure, like you're getting a premier. I don't even know if premier is the word for McDaniels.
Yeah, no, I don't think I think there's a world where like
you're not here to grease the wheels of a trade and give up the most valuable thing in the trade. That makes zero sense.
Agreed with that. I do think that there's a world where there's obviously a big world where we don't get Giannis.
Oh yeah,
there's a world, and we do use a pick to get a valuable player, and that will still be successful. It's more so you can't be helping facilitate that trade, give up all 3 picks, and end up with just Mikal Bridges and Gershon Yabusele. You can't do that.
Yeah, that like
you can get rid of one of those picks or maybe 2 for a player like that, but you've got to really be smart. Like again, like you said, this is your treasure chest. This is your ticket to move up the contending ladder. You can't just waste it on a move that's going to help you get 3-4 more wins. So
yeah,
it's so interesting though.
And I think like the Blazers obviously have the package if they want to. It's just, I guess, I feel like the Bucks are going to. It's kind of like it's what the Pelicans are doing with Trey Murphy right now. It's like we would have to be blown away or get a Mikal Bridges level package to even consider trading Trey Murphy. And like you got to wait teams out a little bit. So that's why I don't think it'll happen at the deadline. It just depends on how.
By the way, just to butt in here, I think that plays even more into the Blazers' hand if it doesn't happen now, because the closer you get to 2028 when we have that first pick, the less amount of time the Bucks because Giannis is getting traded. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. If it happens in the summer, now you only have to worry about 2 seasons for the Bucks to be bad instead of 2.5. Like
I hear you.
They have less time to turn it around, which plays into the Blazers and ups the value of the picks.
Okay, so I want you to I'm gonna do a little game. Which deal's better? Okay, so we have Scoot or Shaden. We'll say Scoot, but just because he's younger. Scoot, Jeremy, Rob Will, Milwaukee's picks back, Orlando's 28 first, and the Blazers 31 first.
Yeah.
So that's
5 first.
Sure, it's 5 picks. The Bucks are netting they're getting picks back, Scoot, or
picks, yeah.
Jimmy Butler, Kuminga, Moody, Pajemski, and 3 firsts and a swap.
So all those players in that deal are irrelevant.
Yeah, Scoot's better than all 4 of those, and yes, that includes Jimmy Butler. Long term for the Bucks, yeah, Scoot's better.
I think the Blazers' offer is better because
we have their picks, man. That's what's so crazy. Like that's why
we're giving up, and even if you're in the comments saying that's not enough player to player value for the Bucks, switch it in for Sharp. Switch Sharp in for Scoot because Sharp definitely has value, especially with what he's shown this year. Yeah. I still think I would do that, and the Blazers is better because you just got to think about it like this. From a Blazers perspective, you will still have your personal picks. You will still have one of your young, hopefully stud guards. You still like the Denny Avdia, Assurgence. What is it? Ascension. The Denny Avdia Ascension has opened so many doors for this team because it used to be like, oh, one of Scooter Shaden needs to be the star of the team. What we said at the beginning of the year, like we need one of these guys to turn into a star. Well, Denny has turned into that. So it makes Scooter Shaden a lot easier to part ways with if you end up needing to. Then Jeremy's not a part of this future. Rob, I've already said, like trade him while his value's high. And then all those picks are like just what it takes to get a guy like that. That is, in my opinion, if I'm the Bucks, I'm happy with that trade. If I'm the Blazers, I don't even feel like I had to give up. I didn't have to break down my team to get the deal, and that is wild that we're saying that.
Evan Sittery,
I saw. He
goes, the Timberwolves have the necessary salary to pull off acquiring Giannis, Antetokounmpo, and Drew Holiday. Minnesota can offer the Trailblazers Jaden McDaniels in order to retrieve Milwaukee's picks. Milwaukee would then receive a package including Julius Randle, salary, and picks. So we give up Drew Holiday and those picks for Jaden McDaniels. Why would we do that? That's so stupid.
That's awful.
That's awful. Why would we do that? Because what you have to do, if you're the Blazers at least, you need to go and dangle those picks in front of Milwaukee if you want to get Giannis. Now, maybe there's a world where we're not. I really don't know if there's a world where you're not trading for Giannis if he's like, I'm okay with Portland and the Bucks like it. But you have the leverage, man. They're a small market team with no picks, or at least swaps, and the Blazers are on the rise. Like if I had to guess where those picks would be in 2028, the Bucks would be before the lottery. The Bucks would be picking 6th and the Blazers 21st or something like that. Like you're going right into the lottery 2 times, and 3. The Blazers be in the lottery 3. Like the Bucks, I think the Blazers have to hardball. If hardball, it's so hard if it's not for Giannis directly. Like you have to. I hope Joe Cronin is strong.
It's a fun, interesting spot for the Blazers because just like you said,
we have the power.
Anything that is not Giannis, you are hardballing so hard, and if you end up keeping the picks, you keep the picks, and you hope that
can't lose.
The Bucks
that's why, to me, it's Giannis or the picks.
Picks. I think you are absolutely you're still opening up the door to trading one of the picks, if not maybe 2, depending on the player, of course. Like, question.
Yeah.
Would you trade? Assume it's like no relevant player. Would you trade 2 of the 2 swaps for like Trey Murphy? Because he's young, so that's better than McHale.
Yes.
McDaniels is still young, but I think I would too, because he would cost. They're saying 3 first, and I did see a report that said the Blazers are among teams that could be interested in Trey Murphy. So that's interesting. That's another thing because
and then make the Pelicans go be the 3rd team.
The Pelicans have that. We're doing something interesting here. The Pelicans have
a lot of contracts.
The Bucks pick in 2026, I believe, or 21 of either in 20
for Drew.
The Bucks have some form. They have the pick in 2027, and then they have the second best of Pelicans, picks, Hawks, Bucks in 2026 because they gave up best for Derek Queen. So there's a world I think where you trade Jeremy Grant and 2 Bucks swaps for, and maybe salary fill or something for Trey Murphy. Deal done. That deal happens at the trade deadline or something. Then the Bucks and the Pelicans wait until the summer and they're working together. And whether that's obviously that would probably be with a 3rd team, but 3rd team, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. I just thought of.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Blazers.
It has to be that caliber player to give up multiple.
Yeah, the Blazers have to. I guess what I'm saying is, if the Blazers have a whiteboard in their like war room of how are we going to contend, to me, you get the plan, you get close to like playoff contention, and then those 3 Bucks picks were going to be to get you over the top. There's going to be tools to get you there. So I don't think you're getting there by trading for McHale or Jaden McDaniels right now. So why would you use those picks on that? If you do it for Giannis, I understand.
I think something also, like you said with Giannis, you are hardballing outside of Giannis. When it comes to Giannis, you are almost letting the Bucks kind of dictate the pace, not to an extreme level, but you can, in my opinion, and tell me if you disagree, if it's like we'll do the trade if Sharp's in it, but not if Scoot's in it, like we will do Sharp, not Scoot, instead of Scoot, not Sharp. Like I think that's where it's like you do have good relations with the Bucks because you have the ability to pull off this trade, and you might bow down to their wants if it doesn't completely break your team. And I think you have the depth around and the pieces still on the team and the picks still on the team.
Yep.
To where you can afford to do that. And if it means that fans are like, I can't believe you traded Sharp, like you take that heat any day of the week.
Yeah, you have to. I will say one reason why I could see the Bucks and the Blazers not doing business is like the Dame thing just was so bad for them. Like I don't know.
Bucks and Blazers. You said Bucks and Wizards.
Oh, sorry. Bucks and Blazers. Yes, Bucks and Blazers. I don't know if the GM would go back for seconds.
It would be a tough look to see
Well, you get
Dame
your
and Giannis not on your team, but that's the bet you made. And
so
And I
Question.
just have to. It's draft day, bro.
So
Literally.
obviously, Giannis wants to play with Drew. Like, he likes playing with Drew. He has a good relationship with Dame. The Blazers have factors going for them, okay, that can help. Where do you think in the West and in the NBA the Blazers are if they have some combination? I don't know who's starting, but Dame, Drew, Sharp, 2, Denny, Kling, and Giannis.
You're a contender, and you're in the Denver OKC tier, bro. You literally are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are. Because look what people were saying about the Bucks at the start of the year with Giannis. I know it's the East, but they were like sneaky, like make a run. He's so good, best player in the conference. And I feel like Giannis
you're
also.
Absurd.
There's so many reasons why I could see it happening, and of course, like the odds are slim that it does. But he won a championship with a small market team. He's like a down to earth, like likes the. He's not like I have to go to a big market. He likes Dame. The big thing too is like if you're trading for him, whoever it is, you got to get that like commitment that he's going to resign too.
That's an interesting thing. Another thing is his health. He's kind of dealing with his calf again.
Yeah.
Is there like, do you have any concern? Like, does that turn you off at all
Of the
to
injuries?
the trade, or is it just like if not even if if you have the opportunity to get 4 elite years of Giannis,
I would do that.
Okay.
I would trade because the way I look at it is the Bucks picks are a surplus. Like if you lose those, you're back to what you did have in theory.
You'd be the best player of all time, talent-wise, to don a Blazer jersey.
From a career accolades wise, yes. Yeah. Well, maybe not that, but like in terms of like
in terms of where they will finish their career in terms of top
75
ranking,
or something.
He's gonna end up as a top 30 player of all time.
Even with one chip.
I think so. I mean, he's got 2 MVPs. He's still playing at that level. It's just the health, and it's just he hasn't had a good team around him.
Yeah, I just think the Blazers need to be really smart about if they're not.
You're in a like you just have to. You have a meatball right down the middle that you just can't swing and miss. You don't have to hit the home run, but just get on base and or take the pitch and see the next pitch, because you have really the only way you lose here is if you get antsy and you trade all these picks for a
middling
like good,
it's not
worth player.
It's not putting you in contention. Those picks need to put you in contention, or at least like to where you can trade for another star down the line. Like it just makes so much sense that Milwaukee would want it back. But like you're not obligated to trade it back. Like if I don't know, like if Jaren Jackson Jr. is available, I know he doesn't rebound, but like, are you giving them 2 of the 3 there? Like,
maybe that's kind of
like if Bam becomes available, or like if like I don't know. I mean, Giannis is just you would think if Dame is somewhat himself, and you keep Drew like in Sharp, you have good enough guard play, and you would.
I really do think Sharp would be in the deal
over
Scoot.
That's
relevant. Are you saying Scoot's in the deal because you think Scoot would have more value?
I think Scoot will have.
Or you're just saying Scoot would have enough value to get it over the line?
Maybe that, but I think he has enough. Yeah,
that's fair. Okay, I mean, I just want to make sure that those Bucks fans that are. What do you say?
Scoot cleared for contact, maybe I saw.
Yeah, we'll get into that in just a second on the back end with just some closing things. But I do want to just preface for Bucks fans, like, if you feel like you're getting ripped off with this deal, I'm not even going to say you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't. If Giannis gets traded to the Blazers, you will not get ripped off. You will get the value you need, and if that means you want Sharp over Scoot or Scoot over Sharp, blah blah blah, it'll happen. So, is there anything else revolving around just the specificities of Giannis? And
I think fan bases are delusional, and including us, I think can be. But I do think this time there's legitimate case for why it could work. For example, the Timberwolves are like, the Wolves can throw a pretty compelling package of players for Giannis if they want. The lack of picks might hold them back, but if Milwaukee doesn't want a full rebuild, we're good for them. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I think they would want.
Yeah, it would be it would be bad GMing to not go into the full rebuild. Again, I'm not in the room. He hasn't been a great GM over the last 4 years, so maybe it is. Maybe that is what he wants to do. But if I'm going off of logic, the Blazers are top 3 in trade package.
Now, what about this? So this is actually very interesting. I'm just going to read out. This is the last thing we'll do. I'm going to read out these packages. This graphic already shows kind of like a slider of what like the interest level is from the Bucks. But I want you to tell me like out of 10 how interested the Bucks would be. Okay.
Okay.
So we said, well, okay. So this one is different. This one has, this one's dumb. But okay, the Blazers package. I'm not going to read this Blazers package because it doesn't include the unprotected 2029 first, which is insane. That'll obviously go back to Milwaukee. If you want to hear it, it's Klingon, Scoot, Jeremy, the 2 swaps in 28 and 30, and the Orlando first in 28.
I guess that's just including Klingon instead of that swap.
They'd rather have the pick, guys.
Or instead of the pick. I think they would too.
Okay.
I think.
Jalen Johnson, Reese Shea, Okongwu, the 2026 Milwaukee New Orleans swap, and a 2027 first.
That is the best deal I've heard.
So you think Jalen Johnson, that pick alone?
Yeah, because that pick is the most valuable pick out of any pick that could be traded, because you know it is going to be in an elite draft and most likely in the top 5.
Okay.
But I don't think the Hawks are giving up that much, so I don't know if that's a realistic
Houston, trade. Sengun, Reed Shepherd, Finney Smith, 2 swaps.
Forgot about Houston. That is
and that's
really good.
That's not a full rebuild type of trade. That's kind of like a retool, in my opinion.
I would probably take that over the Blazers.
Okay. And just for the record, this graphic has the Blazers one at the highest.
Okay.
Which is just interesting. Spurs.
No, I mean that's totally fair. I'm not
Spurs.
Saying wrong.
Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, Carter Bryant, Harrison Barnes, a swap with Atlanta in 26, and a 2030 Dallas Minnesota swap.
That's a good deal.
A lot of players on a lot of picks.
I'm always going to lean toward player over pick just because you know a little more about what you're getting.
That's fair.
But I think that's probably a little worse than Portland. I think it's a good deal though.
Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Rob Dillingham, Joanne Behringer.
No.
San Antonio swap in 2030 and their own first in 32.
That's awful. Unless you think that's a Bucks type pick in 2032, which you have Anthony Edwards. It's not happening. That's a bad deal.
This one's also bad. Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, 2 Pelicans first, 29-31, that valuable picks to be fair, and a 2027 swap with Milwaukee.
So
I'm not doing it.
That's getting your pick back now. That swap, if you're going into a full rebuild, is obviously super valuable, but
and the
Zion
picks would be
your
nice.
centerpiece.
Zion and Herb you need better players than that.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, Pajemski, Will Richard, 2026 Golden State first, 2028 Golden State first, 2030 first, 2032 first. Just Golden State's first, 4 firsts from 20.
It's a fine deal, but it's not in the top 3 or 4.
There's not really.
It's behind the Spurs. It's behind us. It's behind the Rockets in this scenario. It's better than the Timberwolves, and on paper, it's not a bad deal, but there's better.
Yeah, to me, no young players of interest there. Towns, Kolek, another guy I've never heard of, and 3 Knicks firsts.
No, I think that would be really foolish for them to get Towns because he's not doing anything to help you.
All right,
make anything happen.
2 more. Tyler Hero, Ware, Davion Mitchell, Yakahonis, Hawkes, and 4 Miami firsts. I feel like that's a little quantity over quality there.
That is all of those players very intriguing. Would want to probably are good, but there isn't that blue chip piece in that deal, whether it's a pick or it's a player. So again, good deal. It's kind of like the Warriors deal. If it had no competition, it could get over the line, but there's too much competition for it to be
okay. And then last one, I don't think this team would do this. VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, Adam Bona, 2027 Philly first, 30 Philly first, 32 Philly first, 2028 Clippers first. So 4 first Edgecombe and PG for the salary. Edgecombe's intriguing.
You get your blue chip Edgecombe. Now, I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast about 3 weeks ago, and he asked a Philly fan if he would trade Edgecombe and Paul George for Giannis. He said no.
Delusional.
So
it's actually not interesting, but it's just like, I guess as a fan, you have to be like, do I want do I want a outside but plausible chance to win a championship, or like just assume we're gonna get there someday with the build?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We got to remember Giannis is 31 too, so and he's a
That's
big
what I'm
man.
saying.
And he's
Like,
starting to have injuries.
yeah, man. I mean, OKC and San Antonio are there. Denver, like Jokic is there. His game will age, I feel like, well. But Houston is like young, but KD is kind of there. KD's older, so I don't know. I mean, there's room, and I think like Giannis vaults you to top 4 in the West.
I think it does too.
Especially with like how many wins is Giannis worth?
And
like,
I cannot believe I'm saying that, and I can't believe I don't feel like delusional. I'm not. This whole conversation has been genuine, and it's not. It's just not delusional. I'm so curious to read the comments to see where the rest of the fan base.
Some
thinks.
people might not want him, and that I kind of understand. I guess he's older.
I get that too. Too. It's all about the price. Quick things to touch on before we close the podcast. Like you said, Scoot cleared for contact, running around a lot more in practice. What's the in the final stages of his recovery? Nice. Beautiful. Love that. Super excited. And I think he will just be back right after the trade deadline is what my guess would be. Right after the All-Star break. Sorry, not All-Star break.
That is the hope.
And that would be a huge piece to add to the squad. I'll be very curious to see what that means for this sounds crazy, but what that means for like the City, Sissoko, Caleb Love minutes, because they've been really valuable, but to just go straight back to the bench would be tough. But it is what it is. It's the NBA, and you did your job. And now we know if Sharp or Scoot or Holiday needs to sit out, we've got guys that can come in and perform.
Yep.
The only other thing I wrote in my notes is Bill Simmons did a power poll, and he was talking about the Blazers with Tim Legler. And he said the Blazers are fun. The Blazers are kind of in a weird spot if they should be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. And he proposed a trade.
Yeah, I think it's so stupid.
And it's Scoot, Thibault, and Rob Will for Ja.
No thanks.
Hanging up the phone so fast.
I just don't think it moves the team at all, and I don't really want that personality in my locker room. And I also think he has to have the ball in his hand, and I'd rather have the ball in Denny's hand. And before people say, well, Giannis needs the ball in his hand, but Giannis is a big, so like he can go finish at the rim. Like and
Giannis is top 5.
And Giannis is top 4 in the league.
The only reason that was like that stopped me for a second and I was thinking, could that actually make sense? Is because those are 3 players you're trading out that have really had minimal to no impact on this season. So you're almost adding Ja for free on this roster specifically. But that also doesn't make sense because if you're bringing Dame back, are you really going to have a Dame, Drew, Ja team? No, sure. I don't think you're trading anything.
Or guard conundrum.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. When's our next game?
I think we got Lake Show tomorrow night.
The Lakers are.
We'll do a quick run through of the schedule just for the true. Oh, I'm sorry. We got the Knicks tomorrow. I don't know why I said Lake Show. I was thinking big market. We're in New York tomorrow night. Then we go back home for a nice 5-game homestand. So let's just predict through the homestand. We got Knicks on the road tomorrow night. Let me see what the health situation for that would be.
Cavs, Suns, twice.
Questionable. Denny and Rob are questionable, and then the typicals are out. So we got Knicks at home. We've got Knicks on the road, Cavs at home, Suns at home, Grizzlies for 2 at home with the Sixers at home. That's a 6-game sample size. What is your prediction?
3-3.
3-3. I think we sweep the Grizz. I think we beat one of the Suns or
Cavs.
4-2.
4-2.
Wait, let me see.
But I'm assuming you're saying loss to the Knicks.
Not necessarily. Knicks have been shaky. They're kind of turning it around a little bit, but
true.
Off a ton of rest. Hopefully, Denny fully getting back to full health.
The All-Star break will be good for him. I know he's hopefully going to be there.
I mean, we were atrocious down the stretch against Washington, and Denny just wasn't involved. And I was seeing some reports say like he didn't want to push it too hard because his back, and that's just like, it sucks. Because
I'd rather him sit.
The game you got to win.
It's also homecoming for Denny. Washington.
Yeah. So, and then Before the All-Star break, we then go at Timberwolves at Jazz. So basically, all in all, before the All-Star break, that adds 8 more games. If you can give me a 5-3, would be beautiful.
5-3 would get you to 500.
5-3 would get you to 500.
5-3 would get you to 28-28 at the break.
Yeah. Speaking of another team, by the way, that's just been hot fire recently, Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte's solid, man.
It's Charlotte.
Charlotte is solid. They have some talent.
Yeah, they do. That's going to do it for the pod. We appreciate you guys listening. If you're a Blazer fan, if you're a Giannis fan, if you're just NBA, wanting to know what's going on with Giannis, glad you're able to watch. If you want to see us every day, you can go check us out at rcr.trivia for any type of NBA trivia content every single day. That is both on Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. We'll see you guys next time. It's only getting hotter from here. The Giannis hot stove.
Yeah. Sweepstakes.
Until the trade deadline passes, it is going to be the number one topic in the NBA. So
yeah, maybe we'll do a trade deadline pod next week.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what that looks like. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.